In ancient Greek religion and mythology, Thanatos was the personification of death. He was the son of Nyx, the goddess of night, and the brother of Hypnos, the god of sleep. As the deity of death, Thanatos played a significant role in Greek mythology and was often depicted in various art forms and literature. In Greek mythology, Thanatos was often portrayed as a winged and bearded man carrying a sword or a butterfly net. He was also sometimes depicted as a young man with a gentle and kind demeanor, contrary to the common perception of death as a dark and fearsome figure. Thanatos was responsible for escorting the souls of the deceased to the underworld, where they would reside for eternity. One of the most famous myths involving Thanatos is the story of Alkestis, the wife of King Admetus. Alkestis made a deal with the fates to sacrifice her own life in place of her husband's, who was destined to die. When the time came for Alkestis to perish, Thanatos arrived to claim her soul. However, the hero Heracles intervened and wrestled with Thanatos, ultimately freeing Alkestis and returning her to the land of the living. In another myth, Thanatos played a role in the story of Sisyphus, the cunning king who was known for his deceitful and manipulative nature. When Sisyphus eventually died, he tricked Thanatos into chaining him in the underworld, allowing him to escape and return to the land of the living. As punishment for his defiance, Sisyphus was condemned to an eternity of rolling a boulder uphill, only for it to roll back down each time he neared the top. In addition to these myths, Thanatos also appeared in the tale of Orpheus and Eurydice. When Eurydice died, Orpheus journeyed to the underworld to plead with Hades and Persephone for her release. Thanatos was moved by Orpheus's sorrowful music and allowed Eurydice to return to the land of the living, on the condition that Orpheus not look back at her until they had reached the surface. Unfortunately, Orpheus could not resist the urge to glance back, and Eurydice was lost once again to the realm of the dead. The influence of Thanatos extended beyond mythology and into the realm of philosophy and psychology. The concept of death as a natural and inevitable part of life was a topic of contemplation among Greek philosophers, including Socrates and Plato. They believed that the acceptance of death was essential for leading a virtuous and meaningful life. In psychology, the term Thanatos was later adopted by Sigmund Freud to describe the human instinct for self-destruction and the unconscious desire for death. Freud posited that Thanatos existed alongside Eros, the instinct for life and survival, and that the interplay between these two opposing forces shaped human behavior and consciousness. In art and literature, Thanatos was often depicted alongside his brother Hypnos, the god of sleep. Together, they symbolized the passage from life to death, as sleep was often seen as a precursor to death in ancient Greek culture. The image of Thanatos and Hypnos became a common motif in funerary art and was used to convey the idea of a peaceful transition from the waking world to the realm of the afterlife.